It's been a great year. I mean, from the Big Four this summer to this Jaeger tour, or as we've been calling it, Clash of the Titans 2. It's just been, about 5 or 6 months of nonstop fun for us. Getting to be out with all our friends. The bands that we came up with from 27 years ago, and doing this, on such a big level everywhere, all around the world. It's just really amazing. Yeah, of course we are, but that's not our call. You'd have to ask one of the other bands that's not on the bill tonight if that'll ever happen. I can tell you this: all four bands obviously had such a great time doing the Big Four this summer, and we've all spoken quite a lot about it during and since, and everybody wants to do it again, and that's the most important thing. So everyone's on board as far as doing it again. It's just a case of someone figuring out the logistics, and let's go. It was. We thought it was an odd thing that we were going to be shooting in Bulgaria. It's kind of like, that's where we're going to shoot the thing, in Bulgaria. Like, it just seemed like maybe an odd choice. But, as is usually the case with Metallica, things were really thought through very well, and it was certainly the right decision because, I mean, the crowd was insane, and the place looked amazing, and the weather was great, and and whereas some of the other shows it was pissing down rain, and it just turned out to be, it really just, everything kind of, all the planets aligned, and everything just came together really well that night. All the bands put on great shows, and then of course we had the big jam session at the end. We all got on stage and played "Am I Evil" together, and I think I was quoted in some interview in the LA Times the other day where I said, if I could freeze frame that moment in time where it's like me and Mustaine and Hetfield like standing in a row, all like banging our heads to the riff of that song. If I could freeze frame that moment, I would live in that moment for the rest of my life. It was so insane. I just think, like other genres, under the umbrella of hard rock and heavy metal, you've had so many different, branches come off of that tree, and we're just another branch. We created something new in the early '80s. We were all influenced by the same thing. We all came from the same school, so to speak, and we created thrash metal. And we started something new, and I think that's the best thing you could say about any band or any musician, any artist, is if you create something that wasn't there before. And I think it's just an amazing thing to be able to say that all these years later. I mean, we started this band in 1981. Metallica formed in '81. 29 years later, we're still doing this, and because there's so many people on this planet that still love what we do, and are interested in what we do, and want to be a part of this scene and a part of this music. And it's just amazing to me. It's really amazing to me that all these years later, we're on almost a second generation of fans now. 13-year-olds coming to the gigs, and still just love what we do so much. And I mean, that's just such a privilege that that we get to go out and do this. When we first got called about the Big Four, that's what got the wheels spinning about asking Joey to come back in the band, because it just seemed like that was the band. That was the band of the time. The Joey Belladonna Anthrax is the band that I think of when I think of the Big Four. I think of the Among the Living record. I think of '86, '87, of that time period. And so it just made sense. And we met up with Joey in New York, and we had, you can't even call it a meeting. We got together and we drank some coffee, and what do you think? Do you want to do this? He's like, yeah. And we're like, let's go. And like full speed ahead, and jumped right into those Big Four shows. And then from that to this, and all the while in between and during, been working on the material. And we're at a really good place now where, we're almost ready to go. We've got 8 things are recorded. We've only got to go in and re-record like 2 or 3 songs. And then, of course, Joey's going to sing on everything, and we hope to have a record done by springtime and out sometime in 2011, and ready to go. We've been playing a new song called "Fight 'Em Till You Can't," already live on this tour a bunch, and it just feels great. Joey's singing now better on this tour. I would say, as he sounds like he did when he joined this band on the Spreading the Disease record. Like, he sounds like a kid singing. I mean, there's not many dudes that could sing in the register that he's singing. At the age we are, not to give anything away here, but none of us are 21 years old anymore, and he's hitting some notes, man, that I'm like, holy cow! Like, how does he do this? And he blows me away every night, and it's been pretty awesome. Because he quit. You'd have to ask him. It's the best. This is Anthrax. This is the band. After all these years coming, getting to 2010 and being able to put this band together with basically the four of us and having Joey come back and joining it and then feeling how great it is, it really, you don't even have a question anymore of if it's right. It just is right. Yeah, it just sounds like Anthrax. That came together out of my friendship with Joe Troman, who was in a band called Fall Out Boy, and we became friends about 4 years ago and just started writing songs, and it just kind of snowballed into something real. We just really loved what we were doing and felt like, you know what, we've got a record here, and we kind of need to do this. It just started to feel really good and came together really organically, and over a course of 4 years, we wrote when we could and put it together, and now we've got a record that's actually coming out through Island Def Jam on December 14th. It's a great rock record. Yeah, it's an awesome rock record. A little bit of metal thrown in, but it's a great rock record. We tonight's the last show of the tour here in Los Angeles. Anthrax goes to South America on November 8th for a week. We're doing some dates down there. Our first time in Venezuela, actually, and then we'll have not a full on break because we'll have a break from touring after that. But we'll be going to Chicago to probably finish up some of the material, and then Joey will get in the studio and start singing, and it's just full speed ahead. Let's get the record done. Let's get the record done. Let's have the record be great. Well, we already know it's great because we have the material, but let's finish the record and get the record out, and I'm sure we'll be back out touring again next year. Well, we had a title, Worship Music. Whether or not that's still going to be the title, we haven't decided on that yet. I would like to think we're probably going to rename it. No, how could you? Because when we started out, we didn't have any success. We didn't have any success for years and years. I mean, from the time we started the band, I didn't move out of my mom's house for 6 or 7 years, and we didn't even start making money till 10 years in almost. So no, there was never any thought that anything would ever last this long. Or, of course, you hope that. Of course, that's all we ever want to do, and thanks to our fans and and the audience that's been so loyal to us over the years, that's enabled us to do this for so long.